Philpott in the other. And
you know what, though? Bonner had the presence of mind to get it to the guy who was wide open.
He was hell bent for leather, man. He was just, going to head to that basket. They were in his way. They were there defensively, and boom, there's the open shooter. Nobody within 10 feet.
Yeah, that's as dramatic as a finish as I've seen in here in a long time, and the reason why is we were down one and desperately needed anything. We needed a sip of water, and it ended up being a three, and the clock expired when the ball was in the air. They don't get any tighter than that, and I think the Tars can credit a defensive uptick that helped them with 10 to go, although they kind of gave all that away at the end. It evaporated. And, I don't know that was totally the Tars' fault. Philpott worked hard and had the ball tipped away by Moreno, and then this call involving McKim down here. I don't know that either.
I'd like to see that one again. And we saw what happened. And McKim was moving toward the ball, and it looked like the player just got into his path. And either no call or
Steve Anderson was out here, and I tell you what, we always want to see. The hindsight for us is always 20/20. But if McKim just runs into Bacon and goes down, Anderson has no choice but to call that on Bacon. But when McKim finished with him, he was flailing his arms, and it looked to Anderson like he pushed off. I think all he was trying to do was keep Bacon from just colliding with him.
The Tars had 16 from Philpott, 15 from Merton, all in the second half. McKim with 13, 11 for Jack Fleming, 6 for Jacoby Bonner. And actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players scored. 10 players played in this game. For Tampa, 17 for Gamble, 16 for Pat Bacon, including those nerveless free throws there at the end to give Tampa their first lead of the second half, I believe that was, the 1-point lead. And with 7.8 seconds left, the Tars managed to come back. But first of all, McKim battled to get it to midcourt, hit Bonner on the run, and if you get a chance to, I know they're going to have that play up on the website. You got to take a look at that. It's almost as good as that play with McKim hitting the three-pointer to win the conference championship.
It's in its own way. It was just as good, if not better. So they're all good when you can get them like that. But what a play! What an unselfish play by Bonner. I mean, he's a sophomore. Some guys can have. Get down there and get.
How do you figure to out-rebound Tampa by a dozen? I mean,
if you think about it, when they lose Shelton at 6'8", they're really not that. Yeah. They're not that big, and their bigger guys are three-point shooters, which kind of takes them away from the basket. So, it's understandable for me. But that's a good Tampa team. That's as good a Tampa team as we've seen in a while. They.
Bacon is so dangerous, and we hope Duke Shelton.
Yeah,
it's just a sprain and get some ice on it.
You know what, though? I will say this, Robert. I could be wrong, and whatever, but you could make a case that Shelton going out, and we know how valuable he is to them. But you could make a case. I could make a case that in a game like this, it may have benefited Tampa because it allowed them to keep other three-point shooters on the floor more minutes. And even though they only shot 15 of 35, that's still pretty good.
Marcel Robinson, who has hurt the Tars in the past, was 1 for 8.
Yeah, this will be a different team over there for sure. It'll be a game over there that'll be a war, and we'll have to show up ready to play because it's a good Tampa team for sure. This is a huge win.
We got to pick the Waterboy Sports Player of the Game. I'm thinking of two guys, and they're the ones that collaborated on that final
play. You know what? I agree with you 100%. Even though I think a lot of guys played well, I think you make a case that Jack Fleming was really, really good tonight. But Bonner, with the way his game is coming on, and with Merton knocking that down, like he's got ice water in his veins, I say absolutely.
Philpott with 9 rebounds to lead that Tar effort. They out-rebounded Tampa 36-24, limited the Spartans to just 4 offensive rebounds, and you're really doing something there. Also holding Tampa to 13 points below their average after holding Nova to 28 points below their average. So the zone defense picking up just a little bit here as we hit the midway point of the conference season, and a big one coming up in Lakeland.
I mean, this time of year, really, they're all big, and you're exactly right. We'll go to Lakeland, and that's going to be another war. Florida Southern's going to be angry because I think they're they're not faring well down at Barry. That's just about over. We can take you around the men's Sunshine State Conference real quick. With 4 to go, Embry-Riddle's up 76-67, so that's a 9-point game
Whoa.
now. They were up 20-something, so Nova's making a run. Florida Tech is gonna survive at St. Leo 87-83 with 8 seconds to go. We think they're going to survive. And Barry beat Florida Southern down there with 19 seconds to go, 102-80. So that's going to be an angry Florida Southern team that we're going to play.
Yeah, they play well, too. They've come back in several games. They've had, I think, 6 or 7 3-point or less games, nail-biters, and they won 4 or 5 of those. So they're playing pretty well under Coach Donnelly. Barry would go to 7-1. Eckert is not. We don't have a score. Is it Lynn Eckert? Or?
Yeah, that one's not up on the some kind of deal there. And I tell you who's playing better of late, and we're going to have to go there after a few games here around the 20th or so of January, is Florida Tech. Now they beat Barry at Barry, and it looks like they're going to survive St. Leo tonight. So there's no nights off in this conference. I don't really care what anybody says. Everybody's pretty good. And Embry-Riddle's showing you that right now. They're 0-7 on the year, and they're beating Nova over there right now, 3:53 to go. That's a 9-point game, so we don't know what will happen there. But
yeah, and Sam Daniel was the National Player of the Week with his 47-point outing against, I think it was PBA, wasn't it? Yeah, they are coming on for Coach Billy Mims. They got Patrick Anderson back, and Coyle, the big guy, is the most improved player in this league.
Yeah, and he hurt us last time, Coyle. But when Billy Mims was here in early November, he said we're missing Patrick Anderson and we're missing Pafanis. And so they got those guys both back now, so we'll see if they continue to play the way they are. But, like you said, and we expect a good Florida Southern team, and they'll be angry.
Where will
Saturday
we be sitting?
Night.
Where are we going to be?
At Florida Southern, that's the Jenkins Fieldhouse. None of the people listening here really care, but it's as high as you can get. It's actually as high as you sit at Spraggins Hall in Huntsville. They put you way up
that's
there.
a little high.
Spraggins is a little more steep.
At least we got a nice area up there. Spraggins Hall was a little ragtag, but they do treat you well up there in Huntsville. Thank you, folks. All right, that'll do it. The Rollins Stars sweep the Tampa Spartans in 2 nail-biting good games here. And Rollins now 6-3 as they head to the midway point of the conference, and not bad.
No, but this is a big, big, big win here tonight, and hopefully a win like that will catapult us Saturday and give us some momentum. Enjoyed it, Robert.
We'll see you then. All right, for my partner, gentleman, Jim Farrow, and for the Nate Wyatt and all the crew here at Rollins, that will do it. A doubleheader victory for the Rollins Stars over the Tampa Spartans. I'm Robert Siegel. Have a great rest of the week. Talk to you on Saturday. So long, everybody.